Can you see that in there, guys? It's a big old Texas rat snake in there with my my squash plant. This is what we have to be aware of. Make sure that they're not copperheads, but that's a rat snake. He's curled up nicely in this raised bed here. I went to look at my butternut squash, that's what it is, and I saw it starting to move. I guess he heard me. But can you see a little closer? He's nestled up in there to stay a little cool, but that means he's going to be getting out here soon and trying to find a cooler spot. Good morning. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening, Canning Recipes, a little bit of everything. So a couple of weeks ago I went to get eggs and there was about a 6-foot rat snake in the chicken coop. And I went and got Greg and he picked it up and pulled it out. This one, I don't know where it's going to go when it decides to get out on this early morning. But I hope it moves pretty quick because I think one of my dogs might get it and kill it. And we really don't want to kill the rat snakes because they keep the vermin down around the garden. So we have this big bed of our sweet potatoes, and I wouldn't doubt that they don't get up in there either. So we're just going to have to be real careful because although Texas rat snakes are not poisonous and they're actually good for your garden, it doesn't mean that there's not a copperhead in one of these also taking advantage of the cool dirt and the cool morning and the cool night. A couple more places we need to watch are these cucumbers. Now this was my test patch of the wood chips, and you can see the cucumbers are doing good, but in the morning time I really don't get to digging in there for fear of what might be in there. And then we have our cantaloupes over there, and Greg's going to have to be extra careful there as well because you can bet they're probably getting in there to cool off, especially after he waters in the evening. So that's the third snake I've seen this year. We don't see them very often. In fact, it's been years since I've seen one out here. It doesn't mean they're not here, but it's been years since I've seen one. But that's the third one this year so far that we've seen. So this is the problem we're having with our tomatoes this year. Many of them are splitting. And so what we need to do, and if yours are splitting, what you're going to need to do, number one, once they start turning pink, you can go ahead and pick them before they start to split. But if you want them to ripen on the vine, you need to mix you up a really good batch of calcium, boron, and copper because copper gives elasticity to your fruit, but it will not take up the copper if there's not enough calcium. And with all the rain that we've had this year, our plants have not been uptaking the copper that Greg has been spraying, so he's going to be taking care of that probably this morning. We're getting tomatoes, but we're not getting pretty tomatoes, and which is disheartening to me because we had such a great start this year, but they're still edible, they're still cannable. You just have to cut off those bad parts whenever you go to can. So I'm going to show you, we started our own compost, as you know from my video last week. I'm going to show you exactly how it's doing. Right now it's sitting at about 130 degrees. Greg turned it, so let me show you this video where he turned it, and then we jumped up to 150 degrees. So it's working really well. So what we did with this is we cleaned out the chicken coop and we layered it, wood chips, chicken coop pines with the manure, wood chips, and then he's turning it once it gets to about 163 to 165. And we turned it the other day, so check out this video. See where the thing is hanging over? Right there, it's curled up right there. See him? You can see he's dug him a hole and he's burrowing down in there. That's his tail. He's burrowing down in there. He's a big one. Okay. We're going to put him in the front yard and let him go on and do his thing. So here's what a portion of the back acre looks like. You can see our pumpkins are coming up pretty good. Now, if you're going to try to do something like this, you don't want to put your mulch any more than 8 inches deep, and then we're going to just let it settle. We're going to put some good bugs on it, and hopefully by next spring I'll have me a nice sized garden. And he's put a pretty big dent in some of those wood piles, but they keep delivering, so we will keep having them and get, like you see back there, a lot of this acre covered up in these wood chips. We've about given up on our apple trees because they get hit with disease, but this year, because we've not showed it any attention, no spraying to try to get rid of that blight, we might have some pretty good. I want to try to get rid of this one so it don't infect this, but I'm afraid if I pull it, it might break that other one. Oh, I made it. Yeah, this is that old fire blight and rust. So the heat is on here in Texas. Honestly, the Lord is answering my prayer for a cooler summer. We have been in the 90s, around 92 to 94, but our heat index is really high, and it's because of all the humidity and all the rain that we've gotten. But yesterday, I noticed a little bit of a difference, and right now there's a beautiful south wind blowing, and it feels really good to be out here and stay cool while we're getting our chores done. So what am I doing now is my herbs are starting to flower out, so I'm starting to save my seeds for next year. My dill, and let's see, I got some holy basil seeds. I'm going to start on my Thai basil and my opal basil and my Italian basil. They're not quite ready for me to clip off, but we got to get them clipped off in the morning before we do watering, because you won't be able to get a good seed harvest if your plants are wet. And I could do some in the afternoon, but it's so hot in those high tunnels. Let me tell you something, it's about 130 degrees in there when it's full on in the afternoons, and so it's very difficult for me to get out there. Greg seems to be semi-tolerant to it, but I am not. I'm not tolerant to the heat anymore. I'm at that stage in life where I hate the heat. And so I try to get everything done early in the morning. Good girl. Did you get in your pool? Oh, goodness. Goodness. You got in your pool. Does that make you feel better, sweet? What are you doing? You better get in that pool. Goodness. Mommy's going to have to get in her pool this afternoon. Here's some of the tomatoes that we've harvested, and you can see we got those splits, but we've got others that look to be okay. I'll be doing a lot of canning. I'll be making my salsa, so these will not go to waste. I replanted my squash and zucchini, and now's a good time to do that, guys. You still have some time here in the south, and you should circumvent the squash bugs because they come on pretty early. And this is what's left of this bed because they really got overtaken. And you know that we don't use any insecticides or herbicides. So we'll be pulling this up, and I think I'm going to plant some bush beans. My onion bed's looking a little scarce. So yesterday, guys, I pulled some, and you need to eat them right away. You can eat your onion bulbs if they've already flowered out. Here's where your seeds are. So I'm trying to get my seeds out. And then what I did is I took a lot of them in the house and I chopped them up and I put them in a vacuum sealed bag and popped them in the freezer. So if you want to, if your onions have bolted and started producing seed, you can still use them. You'll need to use them right away. Get that middle core out. When you cut the middle of them, you'll see a core, and that's where it's getting ready to root. But you can go ahead and get that middle core out and go ahead and use your onions. See, these are just beautiful, beautiful. Now, they're not good to try to cure because they've already flowered out, but you can use them to eat, or you can chop them up and freeze them to use during the winter time. Yesterday, I picked loads of Anaheim peppers and some bell peppers, and I will be doing my saving on those, and you can go back and see how I saved hatch green chilies. There's a video about probably 6 or 7 years old, and I'll be doing that process. Look at these bell peppers. These are beautiful. I'll be doing that process with these Anaheim peppers. And then we got some good bell peppers because I want to save those. Those are very good. They're green chilies. It's what you put in your queso. It's what you put in your enchiladas. So, yeah, if you want to go check that out, all you have to do is search my channel for hatch green chilies. I popped a tater in this tub here, and not necessarily for it to grow for us to eat, but for it to give me some seed potatoes, because in August here in Texas, I can plant my seed potatoes and get some around Christmas. So I'm trying to keep at least one of my taters going so I can harvest maybe 3 or 4 and replant in August. That's the wrap for today. I need to get busy with my house chores, guys. The rain has shut off here in Texas, so we'll be having to put the sprinkler out in this coming week because we want to keep everything green, especially going into July and August where it's a fire danger out by us. We want to try to keep everything greened up around here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to show you some video of Greg tilling up, or of Greg spreading that wood chips day before yesterday. Enjoy. Take care. God bless. We love you. I smell pine.